Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. So it is Tuesday. We're just going to be streaming in the morning. Hey, Pressel, and hey, Arcane Water, if you're still there. And I think the main goal for today is going to be to design the save system. So let's edit this. Adam is going to design the save system for challenge, or like, I guess like redesign the save system for Skeleseller. Now that challenge mode is going to have persistence. The save system for the regular game is already working totally fine. Yeah. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Easy, easy, easy. All right, well, we might as well make a new thing here and call it save system. Save system. Okay, let's get this started. Overview. So the current save system just lets you save a single file, a single regular mode run of the game. And the load game button on the title screen will load that single run if it exists. Wasn't even actually first. Well, Arcane Water's message was before the stream started, presumably just to find out what keyboard I'm using. And what we need is to figure out save slots, how we're going to save challenge mode data, how we're going to save, I guess, everything that we need, which is challenge mode persistence, regular mode, ongoing regular mode run, and ongoing challenge mode run. Is athletics. I think that's pretty much it. The very first question I kind of have about this is like, what should the user experience be? I assume it'll be something like this. Oh, let me move this back into view. Something like this, where you start the game for the very first time. It just automatically chooses save slot 1 without you knowing. And then we autosave an ongoing game into like sub slots. You have one for regular mode and one for challenge mode. And I mean some like overarching save stuff. Hey Flair, what have you learned live lately? Nothing. Nothing. I should rename my whole online persona to Adam Learns Nothing Ever. Oh man. I wonder what other games do for this stuff. I think mostly you go into the game and it just picks a save slot for you. Then we need some way of you being able to choose different save slots. Different save slots. Still makes up new greetings. Yeah. Okay, so I guess how do you pick whether you want to load your challenge mode or your regular mode run? Maybe there's just load game, and when you pick it, you get a UI for like regular mode run, load challenge mode run, or change save slots. 12 plus 1. Hey Kevin, thanks for the resub. Why don't most games save on closing? Like you get out of your world and it'll autosave instead of pressing an extra button. A lot of games do that. I'd say it's now pretty common modern game design to have autosave happen. And it might not happen exactly on closing, but it might happen like every 5 minutes so that it doesn't really matter. If you just close the game, you're not going to lose more than 4 minutes and 59 seconds of progress, which for most people is not a big deal. So then what would save game look like? And do we need, I guess, do we need a way, do we need an Uber save file? Maybe it just saves to your current slot. I mean, I think we should probably try to do this in the most straightforward way. And as long as the game hasn't launched yet, I don't see an issue with changing this up and invalidating people's save files. You need the save and quit bug. Yeah, I will say I've used that a bunch of times because I want to just play on autopilot, and every once in a while I'm like, whoops, I messed up. Let me scrub my save file. But I'm also playing with an animation speed mod on, so it doesn't count my achievements anyway, even though one time I killed the transient thing, that 999 health guy. Doesn't count for anything. I think you'd want to be able to pick where it's saving to. If you choose save game, then maybe you might expect it to give you a save slot. Then again, I don't really think that matters. We would need this if we want to unlock challenge mode for you by default. Then again, it could just be a setting somewhere. The one auto destroys, yeah. Do I have an undo button? Yes, it's a source of infinite bugs. Ah. Yeah, I just like playing with a faster animation speed. I also tried Downfall recently by Kevin's suggestion. I don't know if you've checked that out, but it's a fan-made mod that adds quite a lot of content. I think some of the new characters and cards are pretty overpowered, though. I got a Downfall, what's it called? Roll the dice. Let me see if I can show you this. I don't know if it's actually called Roll the Dice, and even if it does, I don't know if it shows up in a Google search. Huh. I can't find it. Hang on, I'm on the wiki now. Rain of Dice? Is it this? No. All right, I don't know what it's called. I thought roll was in the name. Roll attack, elemental rolls. I thought, okay, I don't know. I don't know what this is called. Anyway, I figured I'd show you a pic. Oh, no, it's not this. No, wait, it is this, but it had some weird text about exhausting it. I wonder if I'm on an old version of the mod. Yeah, this is not the card I was playing with. History. 2022, yeah, okay, this is just old. But when it just came out, didn't really have what I play Spire for, but it was very cool. Yeah, it's interesting. I think anything that adds more content and it's free is at least worth checking out. Because if you already like the base game, then it can be fun to replay. And I tried that with a lot of the Terraria mods. I think Terraria has a long ramp-up time, though, so I wanted the ones that kind of, they don't start you at the very beginning. Yeah, I don't think it matters. Once you're on a save slot, there's no reason to let you save to a different slot. Most games don't do that. At best, they'd have a copy save file thing, which I don't mind doing. But we don't really need that either. And we should keep it simple. That one's really cool. Really? Like a multiplayer version? I'm guessing it's cooperative? Because I was going to say, I've been playing the board game with my wife and a couple of friends, and it's cooperative Slay the Spire, and it works pretty well. We got another session this Friday. Okay, I think I've pretty much already just designed this. Maybe not entirely, and I want to get into some of the details. But yeah, my conclusions so far. Let's write this down. Conclusions. We need save slots. We make the first one automatically for you. I don't know how many we have. It doesn't really matter. Maybe 3, maybe 4. I don't really see people even using save slots that much. This is going to be like a not often used feature. I I don't expect people to use save slots often. So we'll give them the bare minimum level of support. And yeah, how do you create a new save slot? How do you create a new save slot or change the save slot? And when saving / auto saving, we just save to your dedicated save slot. There's no choosing. Okay, so I think loading should just give you these options. Assuming, yeah, and we can even dynamically populate that menu. When you click load game, it should give you options. Load. We got to come up with a name for regular mode. We have challenge mode, so I've just been calling the other mode regular mode. Maybe story mode? It's not really a story. It's like barely anything. Hey, Goose. You're right side up again. It's really weird. I like it because it allowed for some very difficult challenges. Huh. Interesting. How casual is it? Like, my wife plays Slay the Spire. But... And she's, like, ascended a bunch of times, but... I'd say she's slightly more casual, so I wonder if we could have fun playing that together. Hey, Patrick. Yeah, it should give you, like, load story mode. This would always show. Load challenge mode run. This would only show if you have save data for this. If you've unlocked challenge mode, maybe. And then switch save slots. This would only show if you have multiple save slots. We probably need to read some amount of the save file just to tell you some basic details, like last save time, maybe play time, or some concept of progress, e.g. bosses beaten, time elapsed, etc. It's going to be a good day now the balance is restored. Good. Honestly, we could just avoid save slots for now. It is technically a separate feature. Yeah, we could. So we don't need it for now. We don't need to make save slots now. Hey, Windy. I don't know if you saw my message in your stream, but I didn't want you to feel like you had to sort of de facto raid me. So I was holding off on streaming until you ended yours. Basically how it works is that you both play on the same seed and you can send things to each other like cards or relics. Also has some really crazy custom content. Like there's a relic that lets you share health in real time. Yeah, it sounds like balancing a pre-made game around this new idea of multiplayer would be really tough. Oh, that's loud. Gavelation, thanks for the resub. Never think that. Well, the other thing is I'm doing something kind of boring today, and I feel like going from a very colorful, artsy stream to one that's like we're working in a document today. Your viewers don't like my stream. Your viewers like Carl Urban and his effortless masculinity. Whereas me, they're like, well, he's very hyper masculine, yes. He's an incredibly attractive guy, but he doesn't do any art. Not concerned about balance, I'll say that much. Yeah. I'll probably play some more Downfall. It's been fun. All right, so I think ignoring this at first would actually be good. So what are the changes we would need to make? So we just ignore save slots. what are the changes we would make? Change load game to give you an option of which game type to load. Change load game to show you some basic details about what you're loading. Oh man, I don't know. There are a lot of different ways we could do this. And when I think of like what would a player actually want out of this? In some games, like let's say you're playing a Zelda game, you can kind of look at your run. In fact, they added something called a hero path where you can see like you start here in the world. You don't just go straight from here to your goal and then kill Ganon and you're done. You like wander around the whole world and, you know, repeat paths, and then you end up again and then you win. You might want to go back to when you were here on this path. In which case, having a save file from like 2 months ago could be interesting to you, but I'm not even certain how much it is interesting then, and I don't think it's interesting in Skeleseller. Like in Skeleseller, you are a monotonically increasing town power. So why would you want to go back to an old one? And if you do, you might as well just start over. The game is probably going to be about 5 hours long in story mode, and maybe about 30 minutes long. Well, not 30, maybe 30 to 45 in challenge mode. So yeah, I can't see you wanting to go backwards. And I think that's a pretty important conclusion. There's no need to allow for arbitrary reloading of autosaves. Or like, there's no need to allow for many save. I don't even know what to say this. No need to allow for many like sub saves. In Breath of the Wild, it auto saves every so often, and you can go back to any of the prior like 10 saves. I'm making this up. I don't even know if that's how it works. There's just no need for that in Skeleseller. Not sure if you prefer we share subs or not. I do it because it might encourage others to do it. Oh, no, it's totally fine. I just want people to do what they're comfortable doing. Feel kind of silly sharing it. Yeah, if you don't want to, that's yeah, you don't have to, for sure. I appreciate the sub nonetheless. I've kind of mentioned this before, but as far as Twitch and monetization, I'm not on this platform for money. And I mean, I don't ever mind even sharing the sort of financials of the stream, but my sub count right now is like 130-ish. So if you were to, I don't even know how much this works out to every so often, but if they were all US subs, then it'd be 130 times, I think, 3. So it'd be like 390 gross per month. Obviously, that's not a ton of money for like a job, right? It's nice spending money if you're just doing this as an extra thing. So like, yeah, my plan is not to earn money through Twitch, really. It's to earn money through the game dev. So the reason I say that is I appreciate subs, but I don't think you need to encourage other people to subscribe or anything. It's never been like that in the stream. Actually, I guess there was one time, I think back in like 2020, I was like, okay, now I'm actually going to try to see if I can make Twitch a thing, and I couldn't. And yeah, my sub is $2, so deduct 1.5 from the total. Yeah. So that's like an upper bound. Actually, no, that's not an upper bound, because I guess there's ad revenue too. I think I do end up getting like $400 for a good month, something like that. I anti-sub and remove revenue from ad when I can. Yeah, Wendy's on what they call a siphoning program. He can go to any Twitch streamer and roll the dice, and if he gets more than a 5, then he takes some of their money. D20 is double the money. All right, so if we ignore this for now, change load game to let you see which type of game you're going to load. Change it to show you some basic details. And then what else? Code all the other persistent stuff. Is that pretty much it? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, and like figure out what we need to do to save challenge mode data. Calcify luxuries. That fourth bean on the toast really makes it. I want a 1/4 gram of protein with every meal. So what do I say here? Like, how exactly are we going to portion things out into JSON files. God, I spent an embarrassingly long time staring at Carl Urban memes and just thinking, like, how do I make one that Windy's going to resonate with? And I made a couple, and then I'm like, these aren't funny. I closed it down. I'm like, maybe he hasn't even seen the boys. Never crossed my mind that Carl Urban isn't even from the UK. So I think this is probably the biggest question. How are we going to portion things out into JSON files? So like right now we have 2 files. And I guess that's another question I have is like, once we have save slots, do we want to save local settings per slot? Like video / audio and whatever. Anyway, like I said, I think right now we have 2 files. I'm not actually even positive. Yeah, save and local settings. And then all of these, I got to figure out what these are. Because I don't remember that. What is this? March? Just beat Ogre save? Is there any reason to keep any of this stuff? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be interesting. Let's just delete this. So a lot of these things, I can just see over the months, I've been saving many of these files. I think this is every time you start a new game, but I really don't remember. Save underscore should find it. It didn't. Maybe because we append some like file name. Maybe if I search for underscore and then one of these. Hey, there it is. Nice. Get save backup file. Okay, what is this? I don't remember what this is. Autosave. Back up the old save file using the saves ID just in case something ever goes wrong when saving, like you lose power. Oh, and it's for each town. Interesting. Wow. This is pretty clever. Hey, spec. Oh, would keeping the save in a SQLite database be crazy or unheard of? Not a game dev asking for ignorance. No, that's totally normal. The how of saving of like a database versus a flat file versus many files. This part I'm not super concerned with. I mean, I know that's the kind of the question, like how exactly we're going to portion things out. I'm wondering like, yeah, should we have one file or not? And I'm not totally sure yet. I guess it depends on what we want to save. So save.json, this is a story mode save file. Local settings, this is for anything in the settings. And then technically we make some backups, which I guess don't really matter. So we could cram everything into save.json if we wanted, which is just the ongoing challenge mode run and then any challenge mode persistence. I don't think I like this because, yeah, I don't think I like this because you probably won't even go back to story mode at some point. So why bother loading and saving all of that information? Use .banana. Imagine some like super long extension like .skeleseller save file and then underscore bones. Okay, but is this actually a big deal? What does it matter if you won't go back to story mode and we load it every time anyway? It's not like loading and saving takes a long time. So we load an extra 20 kilobytes of data, right? I guess it's just why bother? Yeah, it's why bother. Okay, so what would it look like if we separated out another save file? We'd probably make something like cmsave.json. It would contain an ongoing run, possibly, and any persistence data, like your perk points, which meta perks you chose, etc. SC2 replay. I think those are good if you randomly stumble upon something and you're like, what is this file? In a case like this, I don't expect people would probably look at it. Also, they're just going to be JSON, so you'll just be able to open it. And actually, I wonder if you just stumbled on a file like this. Let's open this up. What would it be obvious that this is from Skeleseller? Not like super obvious. But we're not trying to obscure anything here. But yeah, there's no direct reference to Skeleseller. Would mode is just a flag for the save? Like how different would the format be? So story mode and challenge mode have different rules. So there would be different aspects to their save files. Like in both of them, you have adventurers, so we need to save that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the next question I need to ask is like, what do we even need to save for challenge mode that's different from normal mode? I think I have a whole bunch of stuff written down for that. And a skeleton emoji. I was gonna launch the game. I wanted to. This is kind of unrelated, but I wanted to show I made some progress yesterday. I coded after the stream, and now we have this many perks, and this is awesome. I think this is 24 that we have, and a couple. There are really just two kind of categories, three categories here, I think. So one is perks that you get. The second is adventurer skills that you get, and then this last one, I'm blocking, but let me do this so you can actually see it. Is this distribute random battle perks to adventurers at the start of a run. So you get some number of random perks here. So yeah, I coded some of these things. Hey, Crawfish. Anyway, these need to be saved. And the actual saving of it should be dead simple. Just super easy. I don't expect saving any of this is going to be hard. I think it's just figuring out what we need to save during a run, because I wrote a whole bunch of things down for that. This entire list here. Current bugs, star, grandma's things, load game. The UI will show that you beat the run. Loading the game should always load a regular run mode run. I think I already fixed this. That was August 25th. Could have sworn I fixed that earlier than then. Selected adventure in the UI is updated correctly. Make sure loading from a save file when you build every building shows the correct special state. Same with when you've gotten every perk, every adventurer, every what other thing. No, that's pretty much it. Make sure we load the twists. Stop hard coding this. Loading an already won challenge mode run should probably show the win screen again. Make sure meta progression can't be cheated. Oh yeah, how are we going to stop that? How do we stop people from cheating meta or like cheating rep gain? We just save whether the game is done. Yeah. Good afternoon. Yeah, contain an ongoing run, possibly, and then any persistence data like your perk points. I think that's the simplest thing. I think we should just do the simplest thing. And I think this is it. So we make a new save file. It contains ongoing run information. Would you ever not have an ongoing run? I need to think about that a little bit more. They won't be binary. They'll be JSON. There's just no reason to stop people from modifying or looking into this. Cheating by loading an almost done save. I think we can, like, I'm not trying to worry. I'm not going to worry about cheating by modifying a save file. It's just cheating by doing something through the game itself. And I think we can easily prevent that. You won't have an ongoing run if you just died or won. Yeah, so that's one of the things I'm wondering about. Like, if you win a run, it's probably just considered done and we just delete the save data. Or we just delete the ongoing run when you complete it. Maybe better to save a game is done flag so that we can show it in the load dialog. Yeah. Okay, so how exactly are we going to portion things out? Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do here. You click load game, gives you two options. We don't need the switch save slots thing. Probably need to read some amount of the save data just to tell you some basic details. And then we'll save challenge mode stuff to cmsave.json. It'll contain an optional ongoing run. It'll always contain persistence information, or like meta progression, I guess I should say. Perk points, rep, which perks you chose. All right, so I think that's answered. How do you pick whether you want to load your challenge mode or your regular mode run? We're just going to change what load game does. Do we need an Uber save file? We need this if we want to unlock challenge mode for you by default. Then again, it could just be a setting somewhere. So if you don't have cmsave.json, it means you haven't unlocked challenge mode, I guess. Yeah. That could be fine. And that would allow you to delete your regular mode run. Okay. The existence of cmsave.json indicates that you've unlocked challenge mode. Actually, should it be that? As long as you can never delete the file, I think it's okay. Keep it as some kind of accolade or something, or don't just wipe it away forever, right? Well, what I'm thinking is imagine a structure like this. There's some like ongoing run, and this is its own object. And then we have some meta progression, and this is its own object. And in here, it might be something like, yeah, perk points is 5. Here, your ongoing run, it might say something like adventurers is an array of adventurers. Maybe let's just, for the sake of illustration, put you've got the rogue and the mage here, and your money is at 9999 or something. I don't know, right? I'm just making stuff up here. So what I'm thinking, when you complete this run, we just delete all the content here. And then we see, oh, this is empty. So it means you don't have an ongoing run. Again, to be kind of really clear what's happening here, this would just be for challenge mode. And challenge mode runs are supposed to be about 30 to 45 minutes. So it's not like, oh, I did something 10 hours ago, I want to go back to that. It's like loading up any roguelike game like Binding of Isaac. I don't know if Binding of Isaac has a mid-run save, but if it did, it's like, well, you only really care about it for that one run. You're not going to go back to that save file 2 days from now, unless you didn't play for 2 days. So is this good enough for this? We create cmsave.json as soon as you beat story mode, and then just never delete it. Alternatively, we could just create it no matter what and just keep a flag in there whether you've unlocked it or not. Yeah, I think that's a better idea. cmsave.json will also contain whether you've even unlocked challenge mode. This would mean we would have to read it every time you open the game. Set that flag when you beat story mode, or default it to being set for the playtest/demo version. What else? Do we need an Uber save file? We need this if we want to unlock challenge mode for you by default. Then again, it could just be a setting somewhere. Yeah, I think it's fine. How do you create a new save slot or change the save slot? So when we eventually do this, I think changing the save slot could be done maybe just through the title screen. And we just save to different folders. We store save files in different like subfolders to indicate save slots. When saving or auto-saving, just save to your dedicated save slot. There's no choosing. We don't need to make save slots now. And maybe like you can change save slots from the title screen. Or when loading the game from the title screen. Maybe it's just from the title screen. Yeah, so I think we get rid of this. changing a save slot is essentially the same thing as creating one. There's no need to modify load game to load from a different save slot. We could just put text saying to change save slots, do so from the title screen. Could I have a profiles button in the UI or title screen? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we need to do anything more advanced than this. Like I said, I don't know how many people are even going to use this feature. It's going to be people who play on the same, like imagine you download through Steam and then you play the game and then like your, I don't know, kid or significant other or whatever friend wants to try it. So you're like, oh, let me make a new save slot for you. I don't even know if you would do this, but if you did, then fine. It's like, what is that going to be? Some small percentage of the player base. So that's why I say we should have this feature, but we shouldn't put a lot of time into it or anything. Because the other thing we need to do is if we ever migrate save files, we now need to migrate every single save slot you add. It's not going to be too crazy because we probably only have 3 save slots. And like I said, the amount of kilobytes of data is going to be like 200 in total, 500. It's not even a megabyte of save data. So it's not going to take a long time. So how do you create a new one? I think we answered this. Once we have save slots, do we want to save local settings per slot? I don't really care. So I guess I'll write that down. For local, what's it called? Local settings.json. I don't really care whether we save it per slot or not. Just do whatever is easiest. Make slots in the JSON file so you only use one file. We could do that. I don't really think there's a big payoff for using just a single file here. Like I think having individual files would make it easier to reason about. Like let's say someone's having an issue and I'm like, oh, send your save file. I would also need to say, and send over whatever slot you're using in there. I think it's probably easier to just have separate files. But it's not a big deal either way. If they did have one file, I could just have an in-game button that says like, oh, share your save file with a dev. What do we need to save for challenge mode that's different from normal mode? How do we stop people from cheating rep gain? Just delete the ongoing run when it's done. Save a game is done flag. So there's actually no way to cheat here. If we're saving your ongoing run alongside your meta progression, then if you go back in time and try to complete the run again, then you also went back in time with your meta progression. So it's like you never got the points in the first place. Yeah. The run will track whether it's over or not. Why do we even need to do that? I think this is mostly just to make it clear when loading from a save file that you didn't have ongoing progress. What do we need to save for challenge mode that's different from regular mode? So that's all this stuff that I wrote down. I guess like number of perks you've bought, how many reroll tokens, etc. I don't think this should be that bad to do. All of the stuff I wrote down over here. Okay, I think that's kind of it. Allow for multiple save files. People who said they wanted this. Oakleus. I think many people have said they wanted this. I'll write update. I did some design work for this here. Yeah, just copy a link to this. Does that work? Is it going to take me back to that? Yeah. We might as well, hang on one second, let me do something. Okay. And now the problem is no one's going to have access to this, so let me share this with the rest of the team at least. Oh no, everyone already has access to it. Well, I'm glad I did that. So we're done. Yeah, we're pretty much done. That was I wanted to do the design. Hey, Coldfire. I could start working on this now. And it's early, and I mean, it's been like 40 minutes of streaming. It's not like I feel tired or something like that. I don't know how much we can get done with in just the rest of this stream. But yeah, we probably might as well start it, right? Also, I expect this to be somewhat buggy in its first iterations. I'm hoping people can help find those bugs. Hey, Becca. How will people delete just their challenge mode data? Oh yeah, I never even talked about that. What do you do when you want to? Okay, you don't need save slots to want to delete your data, right? Did I write that anywhere? No. Okay, that should probably be whenever you manage your save slots is when we should probably allow for deleting a save file. When it comes to deleting a save, we should probably put this in the change slots UI and have a confirmation that is timed that click protects for 3 seconds. 40 minutes equals 10 hours. There, that effect is kind of there. I wouldn't say an hour is equal to 10 hours, but I'd say an hour does feel kind of like an hour and a half or 2 hours in terms of my energy consumption. So yeah, if I stream for 6 hours, it does feel like I worked for 10 or something like that. Hey, TJ. Is there anything else I have written here? Where did deletion even owe this? Right now, we have an explicit load game button, but we're going to need some sort of save slot system. I'm not sure when you would pick it. Then we may want normal ones. The person need to load as soon as you've picked a save slot. Yeah, so we need to load this right on the title screen. cmsave.json as soon as you hit the title screen, since that'll tell us whether you have challenge mode unlocked, what your meta perks are, etc. Okay. I mean, I think we just start coding this stuff. In which case, I should probably change to the stream title. Save system. Have I done all of this stuff? Figure out how our save file is going to store everything. We need to load it as soon as you open the game, or else we wouldn't even know if you've unlocked it. We're already doing this with local settings, or else we wouldn't know which resolution to show. Do this task only after we have data worth saving. Up until that point, we can fake everything. Make sure you don't get credit for the same run. Only let you go to a level. Oh, yeah. Difficulty level. I forgot about that. Where's that? Store the highest difficulty level that you've beaten. Make it so that you can only go to a level 1 beyond that level. Maybe make it clear in the UI that you need to earn at least a bronze medal to be able to go up in difficulty. Keep track of the highest medals earned for each difficulty. Yeah, sure. Store the highest medal earned for each difficulty. So getting a gold and a silver only saves that you... Actually, what we should just store the best time that you got, right? Store the best time you got for each difficulty level. Maybe also store how many meta perks you had. Maybe just this for now. There should probably be some like run history thing at some point. I don't think I want to worry about that yet. Yeah. All right. I'm reasonably happy with these conclusions. I don't think there's anything super complex about this, by the way. Like, we already have saving and loading in the game, so we've already figured out most of the hard problems. Now it's just a matter of how do we put in the challenge mode stuff. And yeah, the reason why we have to do this now, I've been putting it off for a long time, but we need to do it now that we have this. So what I want playtesters to be able to do, you're not going to start with 100 perk points. I don't know how many you're going to start with, maybe 0. But when you finally do get up to 100 and you've clicked, a few of these things, I don't want you to have to like, you close the game and you just lost all your progress. The whole point of playtesting this is to see, is this progress fun? Do you feel like you want to keep coming back to the game? Which is why save files are now important. And it's not like it's going to be some huge deviation from our plan anyway, because it seems like this is going pretty quickly. So yeah, let's start with some of the stuff. So start regular mode, grant most things, save, go to the title screen, go to challenge mode, go to the title screen, load game. Okay, let's try that. So start a new game, click grant most things, save, go to the title screen, go to challenge mode, start a run, then go back to the title screen, then click load game. Yeah, everything's fine. All right, so that's done. And now we got to start coding these conclusions. All right, I'm going to go change the stream title. Coding the new save files or something. Coding a reworked save system. Coding a more of the save system. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, done. And then how do I change this on YouTube? There it is. Done. Okay, cool. Stream title changed. Hey, Wrath. Nice to see you. You're live. Haven't been on Twitch for years, and I was just thinking about you and your bot automation streams. I want to check what you're up to nowadays. Yeah. It's funny because when I first came back to streaming, which was now almost 2 years ago, a lot of people were like, whoa, you're back. It's nice to see you. So I made this command about like, hey, this isn't just a one-off stream. I'm back. But yeah, I was working at Google for 3 years before my return to streaming. So if you were curious about me during that time, you probably wouldn't have seen me online. I streamed maybe like 7 times over 3 years. But yeah, welcome back. Nice to see you again too. Just in case you're curious, your last message was on February 19th, 2022. So it's been a while. Also, wow, you're one of like the original followers of the stream. September 18th, 2015. Yeah, that was like a couple weeks after I started streaming. Wow. Yeah, we've been working on Skeleseller. I don't know if you've seen the game at all. But there's the Steam page, which has a trailer. And I guess I could just show the trailer here. So yeah, you won't be able to read the text because I'm covering it. But yeah, hire adventurers to battle. So I've probably got to change the idle light idea because some people see that it's, hey, those are the old graphics, right? Yeah. Some people see that it's an idle-ish game, and then they're like, oh, I'll just leave it running in the background. And you can do that, but it's not really the goal here. I actually saw someone play the game on YouTube who they got all of their adventurers to level 20. And the amount of time it takes to do this is like just a crazy amount of time. Like it would have taken them 7+ hours to get to that point. And most people complete the game in a little under 2 hours. So this person kind of started the game after spending 10 hours of idling, and they were just stomping every battle because they were level 20. And I think that makes the game very unfun. That particular person said that they had fun and that they probably wouldn't have enjoyed it if they had been active playing the game. But I think it has to do with expectations, because I think the people who expect it to be an idle game who then encounter any friction in the game are going to be like, oh, well, it's an idle game, so I must just have to sit here and wait. And I don't ever really think that's the case. I think the game gives you tools for kind of moving past everything. I think that's why knowing how long the playtime is kind of matters. All right, so save slots we're not going to do yet. No reason to have this. When you click load game, it gives you some options. Let's just copy paste these into here. Probably need to read some amount of the save file to give you basic details. Yeah, so change load game to show you some basic details from the save file. Wait, do I need to do that? What's the point of that? Maybe just last save time? Whether a run was maybe bosses beaten, time elapsed. You plan to add a global leaderboard for challenge mode so we can compare and compete against others? It'd motivate people to play again and again, even if they already reached gold medal. I'm not totally sure, because something that's a little bit tough about this is challenge mode is kind of trivialized the more perks you have. So I guess it's like, imagine an RPG where you have a level from 1 to 99, and now you have challenges that have some built-in level. So like the level 10 challenge is for a level 10 player. So now what happens when a level 99 player tries that challenge? They're going to win, and they're going to win like super fast. So you would need to track somehow that you are the level we expect you to be. So I think what we'll do is we'll have standalone challenges and maybe like daily challenges. These could maybe have leaderboards. So the standalone challenge would say like you're a level 7 player no matter what, entering the level 10 challenge. So now it's, you can't benefit from getting more perks. We give you the perks. So everyone is the same starting point, and same thing with daily challenges. And then I think there could be a leaderboard, but that's not really a plan for right now, at least. It's just something we could do in the future. Started a new software engineering job. I was thinking of how to be more meticulous about taking notes, just like you did. Yeah, I'm glad that helped. I started using Obsidian, and I've got all my notes still here on notes@adamlawrence.com. But yeah, I like taking markdown notes. I made a video on why I stopped using OneNote. And I also made a video on why I switched to Obsidian. So I guess if you want to watch any of that stuff there, it's there. I'm not linking this because you have to watch it or anything. But yeah, I think Obsidian has been pretty nice. I also think the nice thing about taking markdown notes, just to cut through a lot of those videos, is it's markdown. So you can go use a different program and edit your markdown. And I don't use any real plugins for Obsidian. I don't use any real Obsidian specific features. Some of this stuff probably has some different syntax. Like this is a call out. So Obsidian uses the quote syntax and then this note thing. It might be the same as GitHub. I don't actually know. But yeah, maybe this doesn't render correctly in another note-taking application. I'd be like, yeah, well, whatever. At least I don't lose the contents of the notes. I find it bland. You want your note-taking app to not be bland? Because I think it's fair to find something bland. I just don't understand why that would impact your note-taking. It'd be like if I didn't want to drink water because it's not blue. I'm like, why is this clear? I don't want clear liquid. Like, that's not why I drink water, is for the look. Okay, save this to CM. It'll contain whether you unlocked it. Load this as soon as you got on the thing. Okay, so we're going to have to go make this. And I got to figure out how we're doing any of this stuff. Because we have, what, Game Saver? How does this work? This keeps track of a save version. Can we use the same save version for both challenge mode and regular mode? I'm just bad at using it. What do you mean by that? Like you haven't learned the features of it? Or you mean it's hard to get yourself in the habit of taking notes? Because I can understand either one, but I think the features of it, probably you can learn Markdown within like 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah, features. Okay, because I was going to say, as far as what I consider like the absolute basics of note taking is making a different note at the right time, and then like the most basic formatting, which I think boils down to two things: headers and lists. If you can do these three things, then your note taking is already kind of how it needs to be. Like you don't need anything too crazy. So then you think of like, what are the more advanced things you can do? And it's like links between notes or more advanced formatting. So like call outs or I don't know, code blocks or something like that. What else? I don't know. Things like syncing, which you could just pay for. Yeah, I think this is all it really takes, though. So if you literally just had a text file, like you had notes.txt, maybe not notes, maybe you called it something like, you know, python.txt, and then you made another note about, like, I don't know, bicycles.txt. They could just be text files. And then to make headers in them, you'd probably just, because it's text, you'd probably do something like coding syntax or something and make your own little fake headers here. And then be like, I don't know, put some examples and whatever else. And that's it. That's note taking. You don't really need to have any crazy features with it. I wouldn't take my notes as plain text files, but you could. So can we use the same save version between the different kinds of save files? I think so. Yeah, I think so. Both story and challenge mode save files use this version. Okay. What else do we have? Is loading all save data. Okay, all save data probably needs to be renamed now to story mode save data. Let's just do the rename here. Story mode save data. I should probably bump the version of this too. It's going to invalidate everybody's save files when I finally push this. Do we need to do that? What if we don't have this? We just create it immediately? If you don't have this file created? If you don't have it, if you don't have cmsave.json, create it. When do we make your save file? I guess once you actually have something to save, huh? Yeah. Hey, Ramby. Thought you were using Unity because of C#? No, yeah, this is Godot. Welcome in. Welcome to the stream. Feel free to ask any question you might have. Not taking notes can really be a rabbit hole if you want to. I overcomplicated in the beginning, thinking I needed a system. Don't remember his method, just ended up not taking any notes. Yeah. Yeah, I think AI will also help with the finding notes that you took problem. And maybe even organizing them. Hey, Tom, what kind of keyboard do I use? I use a Korn keyboard. I like it quite a lot. All right, get save file path. What is this doing? This is save file name, which I'm guessing is save.json. Yeah. So this is going to be changed to story mode save file name. And then we'll have a challenge mode save file name. That's just going to be cm save.json. Then a lot of these functions probably have to change too. There's save file paths and save backup file. We probably want to back these up too. Auto save challenge mode runs, just like regular runs. Excuse me, they should automatically know which file to save to based on the current mode. Interested in seeing what other game engines are out there like. Yeah, what's nice, at least I think about Godot, is that it's not as mature as Unity in terms of. Sorry, that's a double-edged sword. I think more maturity means you'll have more features, they'll be able to do more things, but you also, with less maturity, will have less cruft and less extra stuff or less deprecated systems that you don't realize are deprecated but are still exposed. So learning Godot is not too bad. And just kind of downloading it and messing around with stuff I think is nice. But you won't often see me in Godot itself. Usually I'm just doing things through VS Code. And especially what I'm going to be working on now, I need to make some tiny UI changes. But other than that, it's going to be largely just me and a text editor. Okay, so we have this save thing. And as soon as we get to, I guess let's search for getting, should be like local settings. Yeah, as soon as we try loading this, which is here. Get save file path. This is local settings saver. Oh God, I don't know how I feel about this. All right, where do we try loading? Wherever we call this from. Oh, the only 3 places. Load. Where do we do that? Here it is. Main scene initial state. Load local settings. All right, so we could also load challenge mode details here. We currently store this stuff in the title screen because there is no town at that point. And I store it in something called challenge mode progress. I feel like this is where we'd keep track of all the save data probably. But I would want to load... I guess I do just want to load this stuff. And we have something here about like, have you even unlocked challenge mode? Yeah, so maybe we put a public bool has unlocked challenge mode. I mentioned this before, but I want to do something kind of interesting. I haven't really seen this before, and it's not super novel or anything, but normally you have to beat story mode, which takes probably about 5 hours, and then you unlock challenge mode. But what I was thinking is, what about people who just want to play challenge mode directly? So what if in the settings somewhere we had a skip story mode button, and it's like, are you sure? Yes or no? And like, maybe, are you really sure? Because the story mode is essentially the tutorial for challenge mode. So you click a button a couple times and now, cool, you have challenge mode. You didn't have to play the story mode at all. So yeah, I think we might do that, which is why this has unlocked challenge mode has to be here, because you could just set this directly through the settings as opposed to like the existence of a save file where you've beaten story mode. Wouldn't necessarily need to do that. So we load local settings here. We could also potentially load your, we would need to do this. We would need to load your challenge mode progress here too. And then if you don't have challenge mode unlocked, don't show the challenge mode button on the main screen. This is a question mark because I don't know if we should show it and just disable it. And when you hover over it, it says something like, you need to beat story mode to be able to play this. I think that would be okay. Just disable this. I think also hiding it would be okay, though. Yeah, I think hiding it is fine. Okay. But yeah, that would involve saving this stuff here. So +1 to hiding it. I think disabling a button is good when you might enable that button in the next like 5 minutes, let's say. But if it's going to take you 5 hours, I don't really think there's a point showing it. I guess it's also, it might add some intrigue. Like, oh, this isn't just the entire game. There's got to be something at the end of story mode that tells you, hey, you've unlocked challenge mode. And then something at the beginning of challenge mode that tells you, here's what challenge mode is. I wonder how much of that we could do on the tutorial level. That would be potentially interesting. I should write that down. Maybe the tutorial is where we tell you what challenge mode is all about, which is the bone system. It could even have a small cutscene if we wanted. Yeah. All right. Well, how does this stuff work? So we get a save file path, read all the text, deserialize it into all save data, and then say they were no longer loading, and then say what gameplay mode we've selected. I wonder why we do this last bit here. Oh, I see. Because load is only done manually right now. But we need to load no matter what. So all right, let's kind of just work through some of this stuff. Load challenge mode data. I think we'll put the same thing here. I don't know why that would be there though. Let's just copy all this for right now. Now, why does load have a Boolean? Do we actually check that? Yes, we do. And if not, then we have an unsupported save file exception that's there. I don't know how this would fail if it's not for an unsupported save file. Anyway, get save file path. We have to have a get challenge mode save file path. So this is currently loading from here. We just need to parameterize this. We could just pass in the path we want to load. Yeah. String save file name. Okay, so has save file would normally return the game constants dot story mode save file. Should probably rename that altogether though. Then save should save to that game constants dot story mode. Any other places that we call this? Is this public? It is public. So load challenge mode would use challenge mode save file. Where else do we call it? Right there. And this is load. This is going to be story mode for now. But at some point, we're going to need to pass in what this is supposed to load. How many places call this? 2? Okay, that's pretty reasonable. Wait, so what if you're in regular mode and you want to load challenge mode? I guess we just present options to you no matter what. Should we even do that? If you're inside of a story mode run and you click load, why would you want to go to challenge mode? It should just load your story mode run, right? Yeah, I think it'd be confusing otherwise. So when you click load game from the title screen, it should give you options. When you click load game from within a run, it should just load that run, that type of run. I.e., there's no reason, well, there's probably no reason why you would want to go from a regular run to a challenge mode run without first going to the title screen. I think it would just confuse players. So load is going to eventually need to change. I'll write it to do here for now. Parameterize this so that we know what type of... Parameterize this with a bool. We know what to load. I'm not going to do that yet, though. I want to finish this. Load challenge mode data. So this is going to load challenge gameplay. Is loading set to true. We're loading all save data. This needs to change. What else do we have here? Save file path. This might not even exist. And if it doesn't exist, then we need to create it. And then we try reading from it, and we get version data from it too. Okay. So we're going to have to create an empty one. So we have story mode save. Wait, what did I call it? Oh, I only renamed this. I didn't rename the file. Whoops. Okay, all save data should be renamed to story mode save data. So now this goes away. Story mode save data is here. All save data shouldn't exist anymore. It does, of course. Man. Okay, fine. Story mode save data. Probably rename this to story mode save data. Or just call it save data. And then this was commented out. This is going to be challenge mode save data, though. I guess let's just delete this. Still commented out for now, I mean. All right, so where do we leave off with this? So we gotta create cmsave.json here. And what's gonna load this? The title screen? No, this main thing? Game saver dot load challenge mode data. All right, what are we doing here? Transition to the target scene. What is the target scene? Title screen state? We wouldn't have even loaded it by now, though. Which means we can't even save this anywhere. So the main scene. Oh, man. I'm just thinking of who should own this data. It was the title screen up until now, but this happens before the title screen. The way we do this is we have a main scene and it loads the title screen, and then the title screen will load the town. So it's like this flow that we have. So this, the town, this is only when you're in a game. Technically, you're in a game as soon as you load the game at all. But, and then the title screen is when we want to show you the challenge mode button or not. But all we care about is whether you've unlocked it at that point. I think it'd be a mistake to load this ahead of time. But you can skip the title screen. If you skip it, what are we going to do? We're going to go directly into challenge mode, but we won't know what data you're supposed to have. I wonder if we should make the main scene the owner of this. The main scene is always loaded too, right? Yeah. I think that's what I want to do. I think I want main to own challenge mode progress. Since we as developers skip the title screen altogether. But players can't do that. The other thing we could do is we could make it so that even as devs, it goes to the title screen first just to skip it. So like it knows how to transition out of there. Is there a reason to go to the title screen at all though? I don't think so. No, we're loading a scene just to skip it, but that's because that's what players do. So this becomes a question of, would we potentially mask bugs by skipping the title screen? We're also skipping the loading screen. I don't know. I think the other question is, do I want main to own something? Main doesn't own anything right now. It's just a holder of scenes. So we'd end up putting a bunch of data in there. I guess it doesn't make sense for the title screen owner though. Yeah, I think we're gonna move this. Oh, that's gonna be a pain. Challenge mode progress. Okay, well, let's go kick off the pain process then. So here's our challenge mode progress. Hey, Syrup. +1, inject save loading in the main scene early as possible, unless you can think of some state where the game won't need save data. Well, it's just for a regular player, the main scene isn't visible and they can't bypass the title screen. So it doesn't make a difference who owns it. But for devs, we skip the title screen. So yeah, it's either we stop skipping the title screen or we load this thing anyway and then store it in the title screen. I guess that's another thing we could have done. But I don't think it makes sense to put it there. So yeah, let's try this out. Apartment complex is creating chaos this morning. They decided that they're going to try and work on asphalt in the entire complex, forcing literally everyone to find parking outside of it, and it's limited. Just had to park almost a mile away. Oh, man. I'm laughing because it reminds me of The Office when they had to park far away. And also that you think they would do it in stages or something. Oh, that probably cost them more money to do it in stages. It doesn't cost them any money to make you go park far away. Okay. So we're going to store this here. And now by virtue of it not being in title screen, we need to go change every reference to it, which thankfully isn't too bad. Why is this here? Challenge mode configuration. Oh, darn it. That also needs to be there, doesn't it? What is a challenge mode configuration? Oh, wait. This one actually probably does belong in the title screen. Because this is which perks you chose. Nope. That's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. I mean, this is basically just a difficulty level, right? And which meta perks you have. But the meta perks, I guess we kind of consider to be progress at this point and not configuration. So if you go to this dialog and you click this, you only have 3 buttons here that can change a thing about the run. You can start the run, of course. So I guess 4 buttons. But the plus and the minus, this is controlling the same thing, which is the difficulty level, and then perks. Oh, we also got to save which difficulty level you chose. I got to write that down. Save which difficulty level is chosen on the title screen for challenge mode. It should even remember this when you get done with a run. Repro, choose level 7, start a run, cheat to end the run, click go to title screen. Level 7 should still be chosen, or maybe level 8. Maybe even level 8 at that point. If you just unlocked it. I don't care about their money. Oh no, I know. I know you wouldn't. But they do. That's probably what caused that decision. I think I had that happen to me once before, and I don't think it had to do with paving. I don't remember what the problem was. This is probably like 12 or 13 years ago, and I just couldn't park where I was supposed to be able to park, so I had to go to some other apartment complex and then walk very far. Okay, let's go fix the rest of this stuff. I guess this is in main. Also, one of these was problematic. Yeah, one of these was problematic, and it was the one that had multiple this thing. Perk points equals this. Refunded. Shouldn't this thing just know that we refunded it? And then we don't have to do anything here? And then set all abilities. Okay, so I think we move meta perks to progress. And then I think we fixed this function here. What is it? Refunded points? Probably has to change once I've made the changes above. Probably move meta perks to challenge mode progress. What is meta perks? No, meta perks is just how many, it's just which things you've chosen, but it doesn't get saved. I guess the difficulty does too, though. So we're going to load any of this stuff, then the title screen wouldn't have any of it. Challenge mode configuration is 2 things. It is your meta perks and your difficulty level. Where did that file go where I just wrote that? There it is. Difficulty level and your meta perks. Both of these are going to get saved. So if main is responsible for loading your progress, then it's probably also responsible for loading this configuration. How often do you stream? Not call you live in a while? Wish I could pin your stream. I stream, how many times does it work out to be? 8 times per week, I guess. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday is morning and afternoon. So it's 2 times per day. And then Tuesday and Thursday is just morning. So yeah, that's 8 times. I think the best way to get notified that I'm going live is to join the Adam Learns Discord and then click this channels and roles. Do you want to be notified when Adam starts to stream? Just click yes. And then every day it'll post in live stream notifications and you'll get this role. So as long as you have role notifications turned on, you'll see this. And I don't really use any other kind of like broad notifications in this server. And it's a pretty low activity server too. So I think that's one of the best ways to get notified. Bye, Thorn. Alternatively, it means that the progress and the configuration are actually the same object. I don't like this idea. I don't think this is correct. But yeah, what would it take to move the configuration to main? Alternatively, there's another idea that I had here. As another option, title screen's storage is static. So we could still store stuff there and just not have we could still store stuff there from main. I think these are similar objects. I think we can compose them into one. I think we can make something like challenge mode. What would be progress and configuration? Is progress even the right name for this? What is this? How much rep you've gotten, perk points? Yeah, this is progress. And then the configuration. So perk points, rep. Configuration is difficulty level, which perks you've chosen. So what could we call this? Like challenge mode data. It's not super clear, but it is data and it does work, I guess. Yeah. Challenge mode params or options. I don't think either one of those really fits though. Because like your perk points aren't options and not parameters to something either. It's your progress. I think data is the most fitting, but what that's going to make us do is now use another level of indirection to access all of these things. But I mean, what else would we do here? Yeah, I don't know what else we would do. Okay, well, let's do this in stages. So let's start by taking this and putting this into main. And then we'll consolidate them. I guess I'll also write this down here. They should, or like challenge mode progress and challenge mode configuration should be added to a single class, challenge mode data. And then main should own that. So we'll put this here for now. Is it saying that these need to be above this because they're static? Yeah, and then everything that was accessing this is now going to be broken. Oh god, a bunch of things access that. Then I guess we should probably change this now, huh? Hey, Campbell Soup. Because we kept track of constraints in here and because everything was coded as a constraint. Oh man, and if it's not coded as a constraint, then it needs to be put into some other ability data. Yeah. Some pieces of abilities. So we would probably need a separate abilities component that just stores constraints. Alternatively, we could merge them into town.player abilities as soon as the run starts. Hey, barcode. Saving such a can of worms after the fact. Well, saving already existed. It's just that the challenge mode stuff wasn't there. And we weren't certain we were going to keep challenge mode. And I'm glad we didn't do saving until now because we changed drastically how challenge mode works. So imagine if we had like specializations being saved and then the difficulty levels, which used to be easy, medium, hard, etc. This all got gutted. So now I'm reasonably confident with the direction we're going in, and saving becomes an almost necessary feature. When all you had were specializations and you were like, okay, I want to try farming on very hard mode. You could do that and then close the game, reopen it, and you could just still start on farming on very hard mode. But now you can't be like, okay, I wanna play for 3 hours, make progress, then close the game. You're not gonna be like, I'll just make that 3 hours of progress again. So I think we did need to save this. Have you done a round of playtesting on challenge mode stuff yet? I've been away for a week or so. So we did it on the old challenge mode stuff, the stuff that had specializations and difficulty levels. And I think the general takeaway was, oh, hang on. I had a document for the general takeaways. Where did I put that? Challenge mode. Yeah, the general takeaways were in this. This is a very short document, so I'll link this in stream. But yeah, some players liked it, but it was a much more complex mode than the base game, and there was no meta progression, so losing felt really bad. For prototyping, it's better to skip saving and make it so you can customize the difficulty specs, etc. for testing. Yeah, but now what I want is for people to carve out their own path through this stuff. Hey, B, how'd the stream go yesterday? How is your curry? All right, so where does that put us here? Yeah, move this stuff over here and then change everything that this is. Okie dokie, let's go do it. So it's going to be challenge mode data. And this is going to be two things. A public challenge mode progress. Get, I guess, a init. I don't know. Maybe I'll just make it a separate right now. What did the title screen do actually, which is now over here? Get set. Okay. And then public challenge mode configuration. Okay, so that's our class. We delete everything else. And we delete all of this. And now what's the problem with this? Non-nullable property must contain a non-null value when exiting constructor. Sure. Except for that's not even how that's going to look. It's going to look however this thing looked. New difficulty level 1. And the other one just says new. Well, I mean, it kind of sort of did. It's actually got this afterward. So sure, let's put that there. This one, I bet will have a huge impact. A lot of gamers hate timers. Yeah, I did not realize how many gamers hate timers. So that alone, I think, is going to be pretty nice. And remember, the way, for those who don't know, the way this used to work is you would start a new run. Like this UI used to be different. So whatever, you'd start a new run. And then this, instead of saying time elapsed, would say time remaining. And it would count down to 0. And when it hit 0, you lose. So you always felt rushed. But now that it's counting up, you can, well, let me just kind of zoom in on this UI so we can talk about it for a second. So now that it's counting up, you do still have different objectives. Like if you complete it within 36 minutes, you get the gold medal. And if you complete it within 45, you get the bronze medal. And after 45 minutes, you get nothing. But the key difference is there are two forms of progression. One is in like reputation points, essentially. You get these even if you lose. And loses in quotes because you can't really lose anymore. And then the other is the next difficulty level. You only get the next one if you get at least a bronze medal. So what that means in practice is this. Let's say you're playing and you're like, I don't care about the timer. I just want to relax. I'm going to step away from my computer. You come back. It's been 3 hours and you finally win. So cool. You did not get any of the medals, but you're still going to get some number of perk points. So when you go back to the title screen here, now instead of having 100, maybe you have 104 or 106 or something like that. So you're like, oh, cool. I can afford this 50 perk point thing or some other thing, whatever. These perks are going to make your next run easier. So now if you were to start another run and be like, okay, let's actually try, I'll try to get the bronze medal, it's going to be slightly easier for you. And now when you finally get that, you'll be able to go up to the next difficulty level here. So you can click the plus button. And now by being on a higher difficulty level, now when you win one of these, you'll get even more perk points. So here, even if you don't get any medals, you'll still get 200 rep, which is worth 2 points. Ignore the balancing. I don't know what that's going to be like yet. So I think this will be a much, much more casual system. Hoping it's good. Why not standardize parameter instantiation versus object constructing? Param X versus param X? Because this is just a debug thing right here. I'm setting perk points to 100, but really it should start at 0, which is what the constructor does. And I'm setting total rep to 10,000, but really it should start at 0. So like at some point, this code should just be deleted. That's why. Okay, so challenge mode data is now going to go into main, and this is going to break everything. So now we get rid of this, and we go fix the 14,000 lines of code we got to go fix. This is why this is problematic, because we accessed a bunch of constraints through this information. Also, maybe we shouldn't call it challenge mode progress and configuration. We should just call it progress and configuration. Yeah, that's probably better. Okay, I like that. So now we got to go change everything. So everywhere that we did main.challenge mode progress, all of this needs to change to be main.challenge mode data.progress. All right, so we replace all of those and hope that that's all fine. Now we search for that. All of that is looking good. Now, everywhere that we did title screen.challenge mode configuration, this all needs to be changed to be main.challenge mode data.configuration. And just hope that that's all okay. Can we run the code now? I sure hope so. Nope. Just a black screen. All right, what's the problem there? Save file now. Oh, that's easy. Yeah, actually, that's not the problem at all. That was that's because I never finished writing this function because I got sidetracked. Yeah, it's got a to do right here. That's where I left off. All right, so then how about we just don't even do this for right now? Yeah, nice. It worked. So do these things work? How would I even tell? Enemies do 150% damage. I should be able to tell that, right? So I just get into a battle. And if I take 15 damage instead of 10, it's working? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so this is good. This is a minus. This is good. Refunded points has to change. This function should then figure out just main.challenge mode data.refund points. And then delete this stuff and put this over there. Okay, so then we delete all of that and that and that. And put that there. Okay, pretty nice. And that was in refunded points. Why is this in the past tense? Why is this in the past tense? No, this is not refunded. This is refund. Yeah. Reset to 0, modify currency. Okay, sure. All right, so this one's done now too. And now we can go back to trying to get our save data. So where did I put that? Load challenge mode data. Oh, I commented out the other ones. We can't find it that way. There it is. All right, so how do we create a file? Must be able to find it in save, right? Write all text. Here it is. And we need to be able to serialize one of these things. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, let's go make a new function. Private static void create empty challenge mode save data. So we have story mode save data. We need challenge mode save data. Hey, Hepta. How you doing? Challenge mode save data. Challenge mode. All right, JSON property name town. There is no town. Just procrastinating. We're doing what? Just work? Okay, so what have we even put in here? I already kind of wrote what it is. It contains whether you've unlocked challenge mode and an optional, where's the optional part? Optional ongoing run and meta progression. So whether you've unlocked challenge mode, optional ongoing run, and then meta progression. And meta progression should actually contain this now. So it's actually just two things. Work is boring. I think as long as your expectation is set to that work is boring, I think it makes it more bearable. If you're expecting work to get better and then it doesn't, then you're let down. But if you never expect it to get better, and it might sound like I'm kidding, I actually think this is really important. I think this is one of the like classic causes of conflict in life in general, is when your expectations are misaligned with what the reality is. And that goes true with practically anything. Like if you're stuck in traffic and your expectation is that you wouldn't have had traffic, you'll probably be agitated. So much of it is just change your mentality and have a smoother transition through life. I think it's very tough to do that though. Easier said than done for sure. Graduated college and I'm so excited to work at big tech. My expectations, yeah. 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 Do you ever look at the tenant system that I do on Mondays? Have you ever seen me talk about this stuff or do this? Like I have a list, a very short list of things that I want to uphold. And every week I look at, am I upholding these things? And for me, it was, can I continue to do this stuff? Am I taking these like minor steps that are sometimes boring? And am I not wasting the opportunity? So these are my like primary directives that I have here. Have you ever thought of doing something like this for yourself? Because I think there are a lot of interesting things that this makes you do. One is enumerate your values, which on its own is already pretty good. And then two is hold you accountable to some extent. I mean, no one's making you do this. And the third is bringing awareness to all of this. So when I look at this in a given week and I'm like, man, I really need a vacation. It's like, maybe what I'm doing is not as sustainable as I think it is. And yeah, the reason I mention this stuff is because one, I kind of wonder, even sort of for you personally, you talked about golden handcuffs in the past. You talked about Salesforce and kind of the woes of switching jobs and everything else that, these are the kinds of things I've heard from you. And I sort of wonder, yeah, what would your values be? Like why are you there? And I suspect money is pretty high up there, But then I wonder if you kept an eye on these things, like how would it cause you to change your life a bit? I've lost my passion. Starting to feel like every big tech company is the same. I think there's some reality in what you said there. And I think the thing that makes it a reality is the word big. I think just tech companies vary wildly, but I think big tech companies, they all start to converge into like slightly lower risk, like focusing on shareholder value. I don't know, like having more process than normal. Yeah, join a startup or try your own thing on the side, something like that. But this is why I kind of mentioned this stuff because, like I said, I've heard you talk about golden handcuffs. I understand that's probably why you're not going and joining a startup. You've talked about the stock price of Salesforce a lot in this stream. So yeah, it does make me wonder, like, at what point are you like, enough is enough? I'm done with this. And that's where your values matter. I'm actually doing 1099 work at the same time. Is it fulfilling? Like, what's the impetus behind that? Actually, I should probably leave this document open. You know what? No, I shouldn't. I should just put a link to it over here. Fine. Hello, tab. There we go. Work is more interesting doing web dev and cloud deployments. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I got to say, this is what led to me quitting Google. At one point, I asked myself, like, why am I here? And I didn't have a very good answer. I'm greatly simplifying the process for that. But at a high level, that's what it went like. All right, so I just deleted it. Progress and whether or not, no, wait, no, progress and something else. Darn it, what was it? Something else? Ongoing run. Yeah. So we need, well, and the version, I guess. That part's fine. So challenge mode save data, we need your progress. Public challenge mode progress save data, something like that. Get set equals null. And then an ongoing run. I think we save this, but some of it's not going to matter. I don't think I'll go to another big tech company. Can't do this for another 35 years. Yeah. I talked about this before. I think this is really interesting. Let's say you are, and I know you're not 20, but let's say you're 20 years old and you've got some career goals. And depending on what your career goals are, maybe you'll never achieve them. Like, let's say you want to be the president of the US. Like, there are not many people who can do that. So, but let's say your career goals are something more reasonable. Maybe it's like get to senior at a company. Maybe it's like make certain products or something like that. At some point, maybe it takes you 20 years to get there. At some point, you accomplish those goals, and now you're 40 years old. you still have a decent amount of career time ahead of you, even if you choose to retire. It's like you could still work. You can still do quite a lot. And I think about this in terms of game dev for myself. Like, I'm working on Skeleseller right now. I worked on Botland in the past. I've worked on a bunch of other various games, and I've got a bunch of future ideas that I want to do. But let's say each idea takes 3 years. And let's say I had 5 of those ideas. So it's going to be 15 years from now. I'll have done all of my ideas. And in that time, I'll have generated new ideas, and probably my trajectory in my life will shift a bit. But still, just think about it. Like, if you accomplished all your goals in the next 15 years, what would your goals then be? And you're probably hoping that in that 15 years, you get more clarity into what they'll be. But what if you just accomplished all the goals and then you're like, well, that was it. That's what I wanted to do in my life. You at that point have to create goals for yourself because you're still alive. Corporate ladder, so boring. Yeah. I think it appeals to a very specific kind of person. And I think there's that money inflection point. We've seen this happen with NVIDIA employees. They basically all just printed money in the form of their stock. And then a lot of them were like, well, why am I working anymore? And yeah, it kind of makes me wonder, like, let's say there was a job, any job, whatever it is, a tech job, let's say, that pays $10 million per year. How many average people would work at that job for more than a year? Like maybe 2 years tops for most people. And let's say you just had it for the rest of your life. You could work as long as you want. You could generate wealth for your entire, all of your descendants. Still, would you do it? At some point, you'd probably be like, okay, I'm done. I'm not gonna do this anymore. Depends how good it is. Yeah, okay, so sorry. The other caveat that I didn't list is that you don't like the job. It's not like literal torture or something, but it's, I don't know. Imagine, I guess the example I like to use is it's $10 million a year, and literally all you're doing is you're stacking bricks, literal bricks every single day, just for 8 hours. And let's say there's no like lasting physical pain after this. So that's not the portion of this I want to focus on. It's like it's a job you consider to be boring, and it pays amazingly. How long would you do this for? And for most people, it'd probably be at least a year. Like, that's not such a long time, but it probably wouldn't be 40 years. Stonemasons and shambles. Well, they're doing more than just literally laying bricks for 8 hours a day. Anyways, Brad, I don't need to be rich or anything as long as I can be part of the creation of something. Yeah, and I think that's kind of my whole purpose in sharing any of this discussion so far is that at the end of the day, you have some values. Everyone does. And at some point, you need to weigh the necessities of your life against those values. And, all of us have needs. So like you need shelter, you need food, you need like clean air. Those are the sorts of things where if you're getting those, then now we're talking about wants beyond that stuff. Hey, Jason, I'd be good for 2 years. Yeah, like I could see people doing this for some small number of years, but I think people wouldn't typically choose to do it for a very long time. Because this is a level of money we're talking about where it's not like, well, if I make another 100,000, I can pay for the cancer treatment for my relative or something like that. It's like, no, 10 million is enough to pay for that. So it's not, well, I'll go get a new iPad or something. It's like, you would have gotten hundreds of iPads. I need nothing. Mere mortals. I throw my bricks. I guess that's a mentality we should have toward big tech companies. If you don't enjoy working there, but the money is great, got to make the decision of how long you spend it. Yeah. Yeah. And I think if we go even a step back, like I was talking about this stuff so that I could talk about your values. If we go even farther back than values, it is some amount of mindfulness, like mindfully living your life and making decisions. And I talk about this in terms of tech debt sometimes. It's okay to say I'm hacking together a function because I have a deadline. Like you're going to write maybe a bug or the code's not going to be as maintainable or something, but you're making a mindful trade-off. I think that's totally fine. I think it's kind of bad about how some people live their lives is they're not mindful about it. So things just happen to them and they don't realize their own agency in the process. It sounds like I'm talking about someone specific, but I've just seen this happen with many different people. And I'm probably not immune to it as well. I probably don't have insight in certain cases in my life where this is happening to me. But yeah, I think we're more in control than we think we are. All right, so this might not exist. No, this part definitely exists. This part might not exist. And this doesn't even exist. Need to turn off autopilot. Yeah. Yeah, and just kind of stop and think about things every once in a while. All right, I don't know what's going to be in here yet. But probably things like perk points, difficulty level, etc. to actually fill this class in. And I guess delete this stuff for now. And probably make these gets and sets. Okay. All right, so going back to this, save challenge mode stuff. So now we have a way where we can actually do this. we make a challenge mode save data. Let's call it save data. The town save data is just going to be null for now. And we save it. And then wherever I had the to do in this file, we do this. Then we read all text from that path, which is going to be pointless if we just created it. You plan on auto calling the save methods automatically in the background? Yeah, and that's already what's happening too. Well, it's happening for the regular mode. It's not happening for challenge mode yet. Find the summation of edge nodes, change the background color of this one site page. Excuse me. I think there are a lot of reasons for why big tech interviews got to be the way that they are. And I kind of almost wonder if they could make it an arbitrary, like, physical challenge that everyone can do. Like, imagine if the interview was juggle 12 objects at once in the air. So, like, just literal juggling. There's no metaphor here. And let's say this was a difficult enough task where people would have to practice for months to get good at it. Like, it wouldn't accomplish exactly the same thing, but it would still show you that someone's dedicated enough to do a semi-arbitrary task to show their alignment to the company and how much they want to get into it. It would weed out the people who aren't doing that or don't naturally have that talent. Is it Niv? Anyway, I think there is a lot of history behind this, and then a lot of pressure from other big tech companies to do what the other big tech companies are doing. All right, so now we read all of this, get the version save data, fail to deserialize, it gets unsupported, and then beyond that, it is to get our challenge mode save data and deserialize it. Challenge mode save data. Oh, this was saved into a property. We don't have a property now. Story mode save data, yeah. This can't be null. And that's the name of a drat. It's the name of a class. Wait, no, that's not a problem. What am I talking about? Why is this an issue then? Just because of that? Oh, yeah, easy. All right, that's not a thing that happens. And now we kind of have our function. Okay, so if I just load the game, I think it'll create cm save.json with probably trash inside of it. Is it going to run? It runs. Does it create the file? No, well, it did create it, but it also then broke. Why did it break? Object reference, town init, line 1247. Load town save data. Why is this asynchronous? Is it a plugin for showing references? No, it's just pressing F12 and it shows you whatever references there are for these things. F12 is go to definition, by the way. So town save data doesn't exist. It ran my file loading stuff. Something must happen inside the rest of load. Oh, I see. It says is loading equals true. Technically, it's not anymore. Or if we were going to do that, we'd set it to true here, and then we'd cut it out afterward. I don't even know why we do this. This is loaded for a different reason from why we load everything else, though. Do you not like sticky scroll? Where, what, it keeps the name of the function? No, I didn't like that. I tried it because it was added by default at one point, and I just never ended up benefiting from that, I felt. Yeah, you can define X layers of nesting. Yeah. I mean, it's also showing at the top here, just to be clear. So, like, I don't have sticky scrolling, but I can still see exactly what path we got and go to those particular levels of nesting. In fact, I don't even think I realized this would open the outline. That's kind of interesting. Huh. Although I know I can just do the same thing right here. In fact, I should probably do that from time to time. Just go to the previous function that way. All right, so we don't start is loading here. We don't even... Wait, did I just delete that? Yeah, I did delete that. Okay, let's try this. We're going to have a Costco stream. Sell bulk copies of this game at Costco. You know, I don't really have any inclination to stream anything beyond this. This and music occasionally. Music creation and game dev, which I kind of slot into music, or into game dev, I mean. But yeah, I don't want to play games on stream, except maybe Skeleseller. I don't want to do like a gym stream or something like that, or an IRL stream. It just doesn't appeal to me. Is there any user interaction codex for saving challenge mode data, or will it be passive and automatic? The user interaction is going to be the same as what's currently there, which is while you're in a run, you'll be able to click save game, but there will be an auto save as well. So you don't have to do it, just like you don't have to do it for the main game. So, and I think that's pretty uncontroversial. It'll save when you want it to save, and then you can force it to save if you want. Cat petting stream when? Did somebody say cat? Hey, Vinny. Yeah, sure. I'll hook that up. Let me play some video games there. We already included that. I'm not a funny guy. Does load game still apply? So the way that this is going to work is this. If you click load game on the title screen, it's going to ask, do you want to load your story mode or challenge mode? But if you're already in one of these games, so if I click challenge mode, for example, and then I click load, it's going to assume you want to load a challenge mode game. Yeah, so recently, in June of this year, I put Skeleseller in Next Fest, and my idea was like, okay, this whole week, I'm going to relax and just play other people's games. And that Monday, I think I streamed for 6 hours of playing games, and I was miserable at the end of it. It's like, why did I do this? I don't want to do this for the rest of the week. And I didn't. I went back to, I don't know, working, or I took a break or something. And I still want to do a video on this, and I want to call it something like, I hate games, maybe. And just talk about why that happened and why I'm impatient when it comes to games. Play Silksong. I played Silksong for about 10 minutes. And then I stopped. But that was actually due to it. Well, it's a couple different reasons. One, I did not like Hollow Knight for some reason. I played that one for about 2 hours, and I just felt like it was just so slow. I just felt like my character moves slowly. Like, jumping isn't fun. I'm sure the game gets better. I just wasn't willing to give it more than 2 hours. And with Silksong, I played for about 10 minutes. But like I said, that was a different problem. That was that I was using a keyboard. I have a Switch 2 Pro controller. And it works in Steam, but not on Game Pass, and I could not get it to work on Game Pass. And unfortunately, it's not just a generic controller. You need like a website open that detects the key presses and like sends it. I don't know. Anyway, it's a mess. So I had to use a keyboard, and this game is not intended to be played with a keyboard. I'm not even sure why they have keyboard controls. Someone out there is probably using a keyboard, but I can't imagine they're having much fun. And I would have loved to have used a controller. I bet it's a great experience. And I would have given it more of a shot. But yeah, after 10 minutes, I'm just like, wow, jumping and attacking is just so difficult. I had to press Z to jump and like X to attack. And then I didn't actually get sprinting. It said C is sprint. But I was like, if I have to sprint and jump and attack, I'm going to hate this. And Mega Man X has those combinations of things, right? You're constantly sprinting and jumping and then usually attacking in the middle of it. But at least you have like your thumb devoted to all those things. Gave it a second shot though, and the game really opens up after yeah, I bet it does. And I might enjoy it more given enough time, but I don't know. This is one of those things. It's like the British version of The Office. I've tried watching it maybe 5 times, and I've never gotten past episode 1. At this point, I'm just never going to try again. If I didn't like it the first 5 times, I'm not going to like it after that. It's just a bad show in my opinion. And yeah, Hollow Knight, maybe I'll give it another shot at some point. But there are a lot of other games to play, I feel. Used to be really impatient. My backlog of games, played 30 minutes to a few hours. Worked really hard the last couple of years to get better focus. And when the friction points happen, to keep pushing through, but it's taken effort. Yeah, I guess this is kind of how people treat their their off time or their boredom time when it comes to social media. It's like just fill it with something. It can be static for all they care. And I think maybe that's how I've gotten with video games. It's like if the game hasn't hooked me in the first 10 or 20 minutes, why should I keep playing when I know there are going to be games out there that do hook me in the first 10 or 20 minutes? Like when I played Slay the Spire, I played for maybe 5 minutes and my immediate reaction was, I get this. Like I understand why this game is super successful. And I think it's generally the same thing like Terraria, Stardew Valley. Those are games that I felt like, man, these are fantastic. The finals took a lot longer to grow on me, but now it has grown on me and I enjoy playing it. All right, so we have this file. What's in it? Town is null. Challenge mode, progress, save data is also null. I gotta fix that. Or maybe I don't. No version. You didn't get it for the first few hours? It's hard for me to remember because this is right when it first came out. Terraria. When did this launch? It was like more than a decade ago, right? 2011. Yeah, I probably played in 2011. And I was impressed back in 2011. Minecraft, I also just kind of got. I was like, wow, this is pretty interesting. Takes some time to get into. Yeah, I'm not big into lore in games. Like even in Silk Song, I skipped whatever intro cutscenes. I was like annoyed when I had to read any text because none of the text seemed interesting. But I've always been that way with games. Even games I've loved, like the Diablo series, I did not care about the storylines. All right, so this is done. Contain an optional run. Contain meta progressions. We're not actually saving that information, but we need to actually save that. We need to populate all of the parts of parrots. I need more parrots. Challenge mode save data. Whoops. Oh my god, there's something so annoying about, so I use a program called Carabiner Elements, I think. And what it lets me do is I have a mouse with a ton of buttons on the side of it, and it lets me hold command on my keyboard and press something on my mouse. So as an example here, if I press right, it's just going to move this right. If I press command on my keyboard and then right on the mouse, it now does command right, which pushes it all the way to the end. I use it purely for that. But as a result of using it for that, if I do a certain keystroke on my keyboard, wait, how do I show this? Oh, I know, like this. If I type a backtick and then shift paste and then another backtick, the shift applies to an extra key. And this is apparently caused somehow by like Carabiner Elements in combination with QMK or something, and it's something that they can't fix. So I need to somehow add in a delay for this. And this bothers me so much. Stay a while and listen. Yeah. Have you played Kenshi? No, I haven't. Also, yes, I agree. Terraria is like a wiki game. And their crafting is a nightmare in that game. All right, we'll also contain whether you be in unlock challenge mode. This would mean, so we need the progress thing to exist no matter what. And it'll default to false for this. I guess we can just go do that, right? Create a new one with town save data. Yeah, what else does this have in it? Challenge mode progress save data. Oh, this is empty because, wait, no, it's set to null. I guess new? And then no, it's not even gonna save now. I guess we need to save after you win a run, probably. Make sure we save. Probably also automatically save after a run is done. Yeah. Later realized that Kanata did like 99% of what I wanted. Yeah, I have a lot of inertia at this point. This is the like OS level remapping. Yeah. Yeah, we need to test this out. I need to get my configuration in here. How are you handling multiple saves? Do you have separate files for autosaves versus manual? Does manual override the previous? So right now, we just have like a save.json file, and autosaves go into it, and manual saves go into it. In the future, we'll probably have save slots, but you'll change them on the title screen. So it's not going to be something. Let me put it this way. Skeleseller is not the kind of game where I think you'll ever really want to go back in time. It's not like there's a story decision here, and this character is like, do you want to choose the good path or the evil path? And you choose evil, and you're like, no, let's go see what the good path was. Like, the kinds of things you're picking are going to be, which perk do I get? And then I guess maybe sometimes you might want to go back and pick a different one, but there's going to be a limited amount of how much you can do that. And it's just, yeah, not the kind of game that I think benefits from having that. All right, progress needs to exist no matter what. So I have the save file now, but it's not going to get anything different unless I delete this. And now I restart this. Or just go, no, I have to restart. Yeah. I want a save point before buying it to see the actual impact of the perk. Yeah, so I just don't see that being a scenario. Okay, so now this is empty. Not actually sure why it's empty. Because this should have been set to 0. Huh. Oh, because it's private? Oh my God. Okay, yeah, my bad. I didn't realize. No, you don't need an attribute here for that. You just need an attribute for when you don't want to serialize it, actually. So now we should see in our save file that it will save. Yeah, now it saves these. They just need to be public. I wrote some notes on how all this stuff works because of how confusing this is. Yeah, specifically for C# and JSON. And this is how long my note is on this. It's like a crazy amount of stuff. But yeah, here, by default, fields aren't serialized. Properties are. Either make a property or annotate the field with JSON include. And I guess they need to be public. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so here's where I kind of stand right now. It's 10:38. I've been streaming for about 2 hours. My goal on Tuesdays and Thursdays is always just kickstart the day. And my Skeleseller goal for this week was get as close to playtesting as possible. And my milestone was like end of day Wednesday would be have most or all of the save system done. Well, it's Tuesday and we've already started working on the save system, and I might do some coding on this after the stream. I might, yeah. And I made more perks than I thought I would make yesterday. So we're in pretty good shape. And maybe we can work on the metrics stuff tomorrow afternoon. Depends on how far I make it with the save data things. Because, yeah, I want to get this in the hands of playtesters as soon as possible. Up to 24 perks. Yeah, I added some more after the stream yesterday. I added 5 more. And these were all pretty straightforward, but then this last one here, this is special. It's distribute random battle perks to adventurers at the start of the run. So if I max this out, now it's level 5, which gives me 10 perks, and now I start a new run. Well, the mage happens to be level 1. But if we go to higher, yeah, like the paladin's level 2. Spirit Caller's level 2. That means we should find some level 3 characters. Yeah, level 3, level 4. So now if we hire the golem, we can see they got 10% dodge, 15% haste, 5 return damage. They got 1 skill. And then probably some of these other ones, but we can't really tell what that got. In fact, shouldn't their health be higher than this? Oh, interesting. So they're not like super overpowered or anything. The fact that we throw them into the forest and then throw the rogue into the forest. And then look at how long it takes them to win these battles. I think the rogue might still win even though they didn't get any perks. Let's see who wins. 12.7 versus 12. Yeah. So the golem still takes longer even with 4 battle perks. But they're probably more survivable. What was their ending life value? 75% life versus 60% life. Yeah. Interesting. Probably could be better, but whatever. Yeah, so I think I'm going to get going for now. But I think this is pretty good. We're making pretty fast progress in the last like week and a half or so. Designed changes to the save system that will work for challenge mode and started coding them. Have a happy and productive rest of the day. Thank you. All right. Who are we raiding? Let's go raid Covino. Oh, wait a second. Hang on. I think... Hang on. Engage privacy mode. Give me 1 sec. I think there's someone online that I said I was supposed to raid. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I would normally raid Covino, but we're going to raid Hilford Games. I'm not sure if I raided him, but I have a note to myself saying that I should raid him.
So it's probably closer to 4.
Whoops. Why did autoplay stream audio? All right. Thank you all for watching. Let me type the raid command here. And if you want to join Discord, there's the link. So I'll be back tomorrow. It should be a full day of streaming. And we'll probably work on a combination of the save file stuff and whatever else I mentioned. Metrics, maybe. And then keep working toward getting this play testable. So yeah, thank you all for being here. I will catch you later. Goodbye.